The Tempest by William Shakespeare. Act 1, Scene 1. A brief introduction to the main characters of the play. We have Prospero and Miranda. They have been cast away in an island by the treachery of these two men, Sebastian, the brother of the King of Naples, Alonso, and Antonio, the brother of Prospero himself. We have Gonzalo, a nobleman, a highly principled and a good man. We have Ferdinand, the son of Alonso, the King of Naples, who later falls in love with Miranda. We have Caliban, a son of a witch, and Ariel, who is a servant, who is not only a spirit but also a servant of Prospero. Let us now listen to the audio version of the very first scene of the play. Kindly follow the text in your books.
The Tempest by William Shakespeare. Act 1. Scene 1. On a ship at sea, a tempestuous noise of thunder and lightning heard. Enter a shipmaster and a boatswain.
Boatswain!
Here, master. What cheer?
Good. Speak to the mariners. Fall to it, yardly, or we run ourselves aground. Bestir! Bestir!
Exit. Enter mariners.
Hi, my hearts. Cheerly, cheerly, my hearts. Yar, yar. Take in the topsail. Tend to the master's whistle. Blow till thou burst thy wind, if room enough.
Enter Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Ferdinand, Gonzalo, and others.
Good boatswain, have a care! Where's the master? Play the men!
I pray now, keep below.
Where is the master, boatswain?
Do you not hear him? You mar our labour. Keep your cabins. You do assist the storm.
Nay, good, be patient.
When the sea is, hence. What cares these rowers for the name of king? To cabin, silence, trouble us not.
Good, yet remember whom thou hast aboard.
None that I more love than myself. You are our counsellor. If you can command these elements to silence, and work the peace of the present, we will not hand a rope more. Use your authority. If you cannot, give thanks. You have lived so long, and make yourself ready in your cabin for the mischance of the hour, if it is so hap. Cheerly, good hearts. Out of our way, I say.
Exit.
I have great comfort from this fellow. Methinks he hath no drowning mark upon him. His complexion is perfect gallows. Stand fast, good fate, to his hanging. Make the rope of his destiny our cable, for our own doth little advantage. If he be not born to be hanged, our case is miserable.
Exeunt. Re-enter boatswain.
Down with the topmast. Yar. Lower, lower. Bring her to try with main course. A plague upon this howling. They are louder than the weather or our office.
Re-enter Sebastian, Antonio, and Gonzalo.
Yet again, what do you hear? Shall we give o'er and drown? Have you a mind to sink?
A pox on your throat, you bawling, blasphemous, incharitable dog!
Work you, then.
Hang, cur! Hang, you whoreson insolent noisemaker! We are less afraid to be drowned than thou art.
I'll warrant him for drowning, though the ship were no stronger than a nutshell, and as leaky as an unstanched wench.
Lay her a hold, a hold. Set her 2 courses off to sea again. Lay her off.
Enter mariners, wet.
All lost. To prayers, to prayers. All lost.
What? Must our mouths be cold?
The king and prince at prayers. Let's assist them, for our case is as theirs.
I'm out of patience.
We are merely cheated of our lives by drunkards. This wide-chapped rascal! Would thou mightst lie drowning the washing of 10 tides!
He'll be hanged yet, though every drop of water swear against it and gape at widest to glut him.
A confused noise within. Mercy on us! We split! We split! Farewell, my wife and children! Farewell, brother! We split! We split! We split!
Let's all sink with the king.
Let's take leave of him.
Exeunt Antonio and Sebastian.
Now would I give 1,000 furlongs of sea for an acre of barren ground, long heath, brown furs, anything. The wills above be done, but I would fain die a dry death.
Exeunt.
The text in detail. First, a quick introduction. The Tempest opens with a fierce storm. The Tempest. The storm, the meaning of the Tempest is nothing but storm. The boat which is tossed about in the sea is carrying the King of Naples and his royals. There is a desperate effort to save the ship. The panic can be seen in all the characters as they shout, scream, blame, and blow. On a ship at sea, a tempestuous noise of thunder and lightning is heard. Enter a master and a boatswain. Now, tempestuous here means stormy. Boatswain is the main officer of the ship. Master says, "Boatswain, here, master, what cheer? What do you need?" "Good, speak to the mariners, fall to it yarely, or we run ourselves aground. Bestir, bestir." "Good man, speak to the sailors to get them working harder. Do it quickly, or we are going to be shipwrecked. Move, move." Now, mariners enter on the deck. During the play, this is on the stage. So, boatswain says, "Hey, my hearts, cheerly, cheerly, my hearts. Yare, yare, take in the topsail. Tend to the master's whistle, blow till thou burst thy wind, if room enough." So his boatswain is ordering his men to work harder, is cheering them up to save the ship from the storm that is about to drown the ship. It is hitting the ship very, very hard. So what does he say? He says, "Pull down the topsail, follow the master's whistled commands, blow your wind until you have nothing left to blast, as long as there is open sea." Now enter some of the main characters, and main characters are always depicted with block letters here. Enter Alonso. Alonso is the King of Naples. The main person here, Sebastian. Sebastian is brother, Antonio the brother of Prospero. Prospero will be introduced in the play later on in the next scene. Ferdinand is the son of Alonso. Remember, and Sebastian is the brother of Alonso. And Gonzalo, the nobleman, and others. And Alonso says, "Good boatswain, have care. Where's the master? Play the men." To the mariners, this is what he is saying. "Good boatswain, be careful. Where's the master? Urge these men to work harder." Boatswain says, "I pray now, keep below." He orders the king himself and he says, "Go now, please. Go down to the deck and don't come up. We will manage this." Antonio, "Where's the master boatswain?" Antonio is a more aggressive man than Alonso. You can feel that with language that he's using. Boatswain gets angry and he says, "Do you not hear him? You mar our labor. You spoil our labor. You are spoiling our work here. Keep your cabins. You do assist the storm. You are assisting the storm. Go and sit in your cabins." What does he say? Can't you hear him shouting commands? Antonio is asking for boatswain, and in reply says, "Can't you hear him shouting the commands? You're interfering with our work. Stay in your cabins. You're helping the storm." Now Gonzalo says, "Nay, good, be patient." Gonzalo is a good man. He's a noble man from the court of the king. "No, be patient." And he says, boatswain says, "When the sea is, I'll be patient when the sea is. Hence, what care these roarers for the name of king? To cabin, silence, trouble us not." He says, "I'll be calm when the sea is calm. Get out of here. These waves don't care for a king." Very philosophical thought here. "Get to your cabin, quiet. Don't trouble us." Hello. "Good. Yet remember whom thou hast board, he says. Gonzalo is warning bosun. He says, please remember who you have on board the ship, king himself, in other words. And bosun says, when he says, do remember who is on the board, or who's on the ship. Bosun says, none that I more love than myself. You are a counselor. If you can command these elements to silence and work the peace of the present, we will not hand a rope more. He says, there is no more important person than I love myself. Okay. And he says, let's see the translation. None I care about more than myself. You are an advisor. If you can order the storm to stop or negotiate a peace with it, we will not handle a single rope. That means you can make peace with this storm and calm it down. Please do it, and we will not get excited, and we will leave all the ropes by themselves. That means we will not be in a panic. If you can, make peace with this storm. Use your authority. If you cannot, give thanks you have lived so long. And make yourself ready in your cabin for the mischance of the hour. If it so happens, mischance is mishap or accident. So what does he say? Use your authority. This is said to Gonzalo. He says, use your authority. If you can't, be thankful that you've lived as long as you have. Go to your cabin and prepare yourself to face death, should the worst happen. And to mariners he says, cheerly good hearts, cheer up boys. And to the courtiers he says, courtiers of the king and Alonso and Don Sebastian, he says, out of our way, I say, get out of the way. And they all exit. Now Gonzalo, while he is exiting, he says this, I have great comfort from this fellow. Methinks he had no drowning mark upon him. His complexion is perfect gallows. Methinks, I think, complexion, his looks, and gallows is hanging. That man makes me feel a lot more confident. This man is making me feel a lot confident. It seems to me that he doesn't look like he's fated to die by drowning. Instead, he looks like he's destined to die by hanging. Methinks, I think, he is not destined to drown because there is no characteristic on him that he's going to die out of drowning. His complexion, his looks, he looks like he's going to be hanged when we are all saved. It's a very sarcastic comment. Stand fast, good fate, to his hanging. Make the rope of his destiny our cable, for our own doth little advantage. If he be not born to be hanged, our case is miserable. He says, good fate, hold strong and make sure that man survives. That man survives this storm, so that he can be hanged. May the rope destined to hold him by the neck save us, because we are going to use the same rope to hang him, because he is so disrespectful now. The ropes we have on the ship are not helping us much. If he is not destined to be hanged, then our case is hopeless. Now bosun re-enters. Okay. Bosun, he says, down with the topmast, yeah, lower, lower, bring her to try with main course. These are all terminologies used on the ship to maneuver the sails. Bring down the topsail, quick, lower, lower, bring the ship in line with the mainsail. And there's a cry within that is heard, plague upon this howling. They are louder than the weather or our office. Cursed be those men shouting. They are louder than the storm and distracting us from our duties. Now re-enter Sebastian, Antonio, and Gonzalo. Yet again, what do you hear? What do you hear? What do you do here? Shall we give over and drown? Shall we drown, die out of drowning? Have you a mind to sink? Do you have a desire to sink? Okay. This is Bosun saying to these people. Sebastian gets angry and he says, "A pox over your throat, you bawling, blasphemous, uncharitable dog." Sebastian calls Bosun dog. What's the translation? "Curse you, shut up, you weeping, unholy, unfeeling dog." Bosun says, "Work you then," he says. "You work then. Working so hard and you're disturbing our work. You work then." And Antonio, "Hanker, hang you, Bosun, insolent noisemaker. We are less afraid to be drowned than thou art." He says, "Cur is dog, Bosun is bastard. Insolent is arrogant, noisemaker is a noisy person. We are less afraid to be drowned than thou art." Art is are, Old English for are. So, hang, dog, hang, you loud, arrogant bastard. We are less afraid of drowning than you are. To this Gonzalo says, Gonzalo is a peacemaker here. I'll warrant him for drowning. Though the ship were no stronger than a nutshell, and as leaky as an unstanched wench, says, I guarantee never drown. Gonzalo has some kind of intuition here. Not even if the ship were as fragile as a nutshell, and as leaky as a menstruating girl. Okay, this is what Gonzalo says. He's trying to probably bring the situation under control. The situation between Antonio and Bosun. Bosun says, and Bosun replies, "Lay a hold." He is commanding his men. "Lay a hold. Set her 2 courses off to sea again. Lay her off." So he's realizing that it is useless talking to Antonio, and he gets on to business. Now, enter mariners. The storm is getting stronger and stronger, and the mariners enter, and their ship is drowning now. It's almost drowned. Mariners say, "All lost. To prayers, all lost." And they exit. "We're going to die. Pray, we are going to die." And the ship is badly hit by the storm. Definitely going to drown now. So, Bosun says, "What must our mouths be cold?" He's saying, we have put in so much effort. What? Must we drown in cold water, he says. And Gonzalo says this, "The king and prince are at prayers, let's assist them. For our case is as theirs." So he says, let's assist the king and the prince who are praying in their cabins. Let's assist them. Because all of our case is the same, that we are all going to. And Sebastian is very impatient here, and he says so. "I am out of patience." Sebastian and Antonio are 2 good friends, and they are very cunning and treacherous. Antonio says, "We are merely cheated of our lives by drunkards." He calls all the mariners and all those who are handling the ship, including bosun and master, drunkards. "This white-chapped rascal," he calls Bosun, and he curses him by saying, "Would thou mightst lie drowning the washing of 10 times." He says, "Would thou hope you die drowning in 10 tides." What's the translation? We've had our lives completely taken from us by a bunch of sailors. As for this big-mouthed rascal, Bosun, I hope you drown 10 times. Bosun exits after this. And Gonzalo says he'll be hanged yet, though every drop of water swear against it, and gape at widest to glut him. He'll still end up hanging, even if every drop of water in the ocean swears against it and opens its mouth wide to swallow him. So Gonzalo, out of some intuition, says this guy is not going to drown. He is destined to hang. Therefore, he thinks that everybody will be surviving. And there's a confused noise within. And it says, mercy on us, we split, we split. We're going to separate, we're going to separate. Farewell, my wife, children, farewell, brother. We split, we split, we split. Antonio says, let's all sink with the king. And they are ready to die now. And these are final words. Sebastian says, let's take leave of him. Leave of who? King. And exeunt Antonio and Sebastian. Gonzalo says, now would I give 1,000 furlong. Furlong is the measurement given here. 1 furlong is 201 meters. That's the length. Now would I give 1,000 furlongs of sea, large amount of sea, for an acre of barren ground, long heath, brown furze, and anything, he says. Any uncultivated land, any shrubs. I don't want any fertile land. I would give 1,000 furlong of sea just for an acre of any kind of land. The wills above be done, the gods will be done, but I would fain die dry death. He says, whatever the gods will be done, but I would love to die dry death. I would happier die dry death. So, in this scene, we saw the sinking of the ship. In the next video, let us see whether there are any survivors at all.